Good Monday afternoon, everybody. It is Alistair, aka that pesky social worker, coming to you very late. I am aware. Um, Normally, our morning walks are morning walks and not afternoon walks, but I have been putting off making this video because I knew it was going to be hard to make, and that's why it's being made now. So I went back and forth on the best way to make this video, and there really is no other way for me to do it other than to just really be personal. So if that makes you uncomfortable, feel free to keep going. If that's your thing, buckle up. So yesterday I talked about external rejection. Today's anatomy of rejection part 2 is internal rejection. And what is that? At its core, internal rejection is self-loathing, self-sabotage, mild case low self-esteem. Ultimately, where it came from was an external voice that pointed out a deficit. And we heard it for so long that we made it our own. And so the "you're no longer good enough," "you're not whatever enough," becomes "I am not whatever enough." And much like external rejection, internal rejection can also only be solved through that anti-venom of self-acceptance. There's a stumbling block, though, when it comes to internal rejection, self-rejection, and self-acceptance. And that can be when your identity, or part of your identity, is built on being something that you tell yourself you're not. And by that, I mean my negative self-talk isn't really talk. It's more of like a screamo band with like really nice high-grade speakers, but they're like still cramped in that one dude's basement. Yeah. Not a lot, but very loud. And when I sat and reflected with myself and thought about, okay, why do I hate myself so much? Why do I keep doing this? It's because I realized that a lot of my personality and a lot of the things that I told myself are predicated on the idea that I will be a failure, no matter what I do. And that has been the story that I've told myself for most of my life. That's a family story that was passed down. And it's not always a verbal one. We get told these things in subtle ways. We also interpret our life experiences to mean certain things. We're all victims of victims. I'm not blaming anybody right now. That's not what this is about. It's about me recognizing that in order for me to get to the next place in my healing, in order to even try to look self-acceptance in the face, like it's been hard to look the camera in the face because I know I have to look at myself later, I have to let go of those parts that are so caught up on right about being a failure that they go to lengths to set me up for self-sabotage and self-betrayal. There are so many relationships that I have not cultivated that could have done wonders for my career, and I think I've done okay for where I'm at, but I don't follow up, and I wonder why I'm alone. I don't reach out to people because it reinforces the idea, well, if they wanted to hear from me, they'd reach out. So I never make the effort. It enables me to not make an effort, which means I don't participate, which means people are like, oh, I guess he's not interested. And like normal people do, they carry on with their lives, and it helps me get to fulfill that prophecy of nobody really wants to spend time with me. Nobody cares. And a lot of me's wrapped up in that. I get to tell myself that story a lot, that I'm not loved, that I'm not cared about, that I don't matter. I don't know if those are stories that any of you tell yourselves on the rag. Let's be real. Seriously. Those are stories I tell myself pretty consistently. And in order to not be that person anymore, because I don't want to be that person anymore. That's why I'm doing all this. In order to not be that person anymore, you have to be willing to let go. So, self-acceptance is the ultimate key to making peace with yourself. And, of course, there's a truck coming. Self-acceptance is the key to that peace. And part of that peace is also learning to let go of the pieces of you that have made home out of tragedy, out of self-perpetuated trauma by choices that we make, choosing to engage with people we know will harm us, substances we know will harm us, people we know will harm us, situations. I think I already mentioned people twice. Can you tell? There's a theme there. So, sorry to be raw and real, but this was a really hard one to make. So thank you for spending the time with me. I would love to know your thoughts on all of this, what your process with your own sort of form of internal rejection is and how you cope with it. I hope everybody has a good rest of their evening, and I will see you all in the morning. Goodbye.